So, as you can see, I'm in the attic now, and my goal today is to put insulation in between these lovely ceiling joists and get the attic totally sectioned off from the other part of my garage space. I think that 90% of my heat is actually coming from this garage or this attic space. So if I can get it closed and totally separate from my space downstairs, it's going to be really, really beneficial. So I'm going to try and get some video of this. It's going to be kind of tough because it's a small space up here. It's really hot, so I'm sweating a lot and I don't want to be up here very long. So I'm going to measure between these joists, write it down on my handy dandy small piece of foam insulation, and then I'm going to get the hell out of here and start cutting that stuff, cut as many as I need, and then come back up and put them all in at the same time. So let's get started. Doot doot doot. All right, so while I'm taking this stuff down, I thought it might be kind of fun to go through what's up here, and if there's anything really old and cool that's worth showing to you guys while I'm taking this stuff down, I figured I might as well go ahead and show it to you. So one of the things I took out already was the oil pickup for your motor. This oil pickup is just a mesh filter, as you can see here, and a pickup line that runs into your oil pump. And this sits down in your motor and sucks up all of the oil as your motor runs it through the oil pump and then back throughout the whole motor. This is a regular, OEM oil pickup. My car's got a center pickup so that it doesn't lose oil pressure when you take a corner really, really hard. But this is what one of the OEM ones look like. So keep that around because you never know if you're going to need it. It's one of those things that could be coming in handy in the future. So I'm going to keep unloading stuff up here, and then I'll pull out some stuff if I see anything else that's pretty dang cool. Alright, so something else I pulled down here is an original heater. This is one of the Smith's Mark I heaters, and it is incredibly loud. The bearings in it are totally ruined, but one of the really cool things that makes it different than one of the later model heaters is that both of the coolant lines are on the same side. Now, there's an even rarer one than this that has them offset on the same side. But yeah, so this is just your heater, and it sticks up underneath the dash and gives you heat in your car, and kind of auxiliary cooling too if your car can't keep itself cold. So, pretty cool. Now, one thing that I have that's really cool here is a factory arrow set for a classic Mini. No, I'm just kidding. These are some extra arrows that I had for my bow and arrow, but I don't have that anymore. It broke, so it went bye-bye, but I guess I'll donate these. Now, one thing I thought was pretty neat.
That's pretty neat.
On the car when I got it, it had dual HS2 carbs. I actually have some videos about changing those out if you're interested in that kind of thing. But when my car originally got to me, it had this kind of makeshift heater shield, and upon closer inspection, I don't know if you can see that there. Let's see if I can get it in focus. It is a street sign that somebody kind of bent and warped so it would work as a heat shield, not a heater shield. And if you want to compare that to something that's, like an actual heat shield, that's what this is right here. As you can see, it's a little bit more put together, and there's not the center notch there to cover that portion of the exhaust manifold. So that's what a normal one looks like, and that's what a really cool makeshift one looks like. So I kind of keep it around because I just think it's really cool. I think that this is considerably more functional, but can't knock it for the kind of MacGyver-ness that these people did. Now the next thing we're going to do is take up this old workbench. It's not really that old, but I've had it maybe about a year now, and I think it's time to just replace this. It's gotten really oily, and I kind of want to get something that's a little bit better sealed than this, or at least seal something myself. I haven't really figured that out. If you guys have some tips about what I could use for a workbench, I need something that I can cut down to size, because this space isn't exactly like a standard size. But I need to fill this space and get something that I can get dirty that maybe I can just wipe up. It would be really, really helpful if I could wipe it up. So if you have any suggestions, I'm open to them. But before we get this up, we got to take off this bench vise, which is just bolted onto this here. So I'm going to get my wrenches out, take that off, and then I'm going to pry this sucker up, which should be pretty fun. So something I just discovered, hammering that thing makes this whole room echo like there's a gunshot going off in here. So, handy dandy ear protection. Check for spiders. Pro tip, if you're ever putting one of these things in here, use screws. Don't use nails. Nails suck. Definitely use screws. But ta-da! Alright, so the next step is going to be taking down this big pegboard, which shouldn't be too bad. The pegboard's actually pretty light. I just got to find the square drill bit that I used for these screws. For some reason I didn't use a regular Phillips. Thank you, Pascal, for doing that. Alright, so one of the things that was important to me is making sure that I can reuse this pegboard, because this pegboard's only like 6 months old and it's very white, obviously, very clean still, and I don't want to get rid of it. So I gotta be real nice about taking this piece off. There's a piece over here that I can take off however I want to, but I'm gonna reuse this, and then I'll get some more to go along this whole wall over here. So, time to do some unscrewing. And there we have it. Totally free. It's a little heavier than I remember it being, but no big deal. Gonna pull this down, set it aside, and then we can actually get to insulating this back wall. Well, after taking off that wall, I found this old label for what I'm guessing is just some paint or something, but it looks like it's really old judging by the kind of age of it, but I'm not really sure. If you guys recognize that and know how old that is, let me know. Pretty cool. It's warranted for 10 years, so who knows, maybe I'm still in the warranty period. So as you guys can probably see, today is drywall day. And I ended up having to pick up a Home Depot truck to drive to Lowe's to pick up my drywall and then bring that back here to drop off all this stuff. Lowe's didn't have any pickup trucks, so I had to go to Home Depot. And I had a whole bunch of coupons at Lowe's, so what am I going to do? Not save money? Anyway, let's get this stuff unloaded. Alright, so now comes the next fun part, which is just putting the drywall on the first wall. So, after much deliberation, I went back and forth about, is this wall going to get pegboard only? Is this wall going to get pegboard? Drywall, this, that. Just going to do drywall on everything, and I'm going to finish it out with pegboard on top of it if I do want to add pegboard all the way out. But I don't know for sure that I'm going to do that yet, so we'll see once I get there. And I am going to replace these windows for sure. So that'll be a job too. But today I want to put up as much drywall as I can. So I'll probably get this wall done and probably a large segment of this wall done. And maybe finish out the wall that the camera is not facing right now. I am going to hold off for right now on this wall with the windows on it, because I have to get the new windows before I can replace the drywall and then get it cut all just right and everything. So let's get started. So look at that. 2 boards up already, and it actually was not that difficult. I thought this was going to be a lot harder than it was. This board is really easy to cut. It's almost easier to cut than that polystyrene board that I've been using for the insulation. You literally have to score it just like once or maybe even twice, and then it just bends and you cut the backer paper off and you're pretty much ready to go. So as you can see, I've got two boards up, and I still have a few more screws I need to put in the top of this one, but honestly I don't see why I won't be getting this wall done today, and maybe even this back wall behind the camera. And then I think that'll probably be it for this video and this episode. I'll take the next episode to kind of cover replacing these windows and putting some really cool concrete treatment down on the floor in here. Obviously this stuff all has to get painted eventually, and I imagine that the purple is a little bit more difficult to paint than you know, regular white board would be, but that's okay. So moving on to the next wall. I'm not really going to video this. It's not that exciting. So I will check back with you guys once I've finished these walls. I'll give you a little tour, and that'll be it. So as you can see, I went ahead and did most of the wall, minus a small sliver up at the top there. Then we come around here, and this whole wall is pretty much done, minus the section around my workbench on that side, as well as the small sliver on the top there. And then I went ahead and did the piece underneath my workbench and put my pegboard back up. I don't think I'm going to put any drywall up there. It'll just make my life a little bit harder, and honestly you can't really tell whether or not there is drywall behind that anyways. So I think that's it for today. I am pretty dang tired, and that was a lot of work, even for just these small sections that I've done so far. I bought way too much drywall, so I'm going to have a bunch left over. Hopefully they let me return that. But I am looking forward to this getting done. Thanks for tuning in, and I will check back with you guys once I start the next kind of section of this and get a little bit more of this drywall up for you. All right?